Atlantis. We might just have the evidence the debunkers have been crying for. All over the world, ancient underwater sites have been getting uncovered and then covered up. So we know Plato's story of Atlantis, advanced utopian kingdom that got lost under a great flood, but that was merely the tip. As it turns out, secret societies may have been uncovering lost Atlantean knowledge for almost 1,000 years. One of which started around the 11th century when a man named Hugh de Paynes led a mission to Constantinople in present-day Turkey, where he and his men met with a group called the Brothers of the East, who told them a very familiar story. One of a highly advanced civilization of all-knowing people that thrived tens of thousands of years ago. It was your classic utopia. No hunger, no poverty, everyone is happy and pure and focuses on self-actualization rather than chasing material goods and social status. They had advanced knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering, can control the weather, communicate over long distances, and levitate objects. And of course, war didn't exist. This wasn't just a city, but a global civilization, one that was very consistent to the story of Plato's Atlantis. The Atlantis we usually hear about commonly refers to the capital city of the kingdom of Atlantis of the same name, and could be how there are so many suspected ancient underwater sites of the lost city all around the world, just different regions of the global civilization of Atlantis that we're slowly discovering. According to the Brothers of the East, they also had free wireless energy powered by conduits in key areas around the world. Pyramids, anyone? Hugh de Paynes was so intrigued that he created a group of fellow men who were tasked with uncovering lost artifacts and forbidden knowledge of this civilization. This group was called the Knights Templar. Yup, this Assassin's Creed lore, which is actually loosely what the video game series was based on. The Knights discovered what was used as the ancient source of fuel for this global energy system: mana. Yeah, for real. Mana with 2 N's is what it's called, and this ain't no RPG magic potion we talking about. First mentioned in the Bible as a food source that God provided for the Israelites. White flakes that look like frost. Atlanteans extracted mana from plants and animal bones using a very specific process and turned it into a white powder, which when used the right way provided free, unlimited, and clean energy for their entire civilization, possibly using the pyramids as their generators. I talked about the Giza power plant theory, which explains how this may have worked in a past video. Go check that out after this. The process by which Atlantis made and used this mana was written down in their legendary Emerald Tablets, which was eventually recovered by the Knights Templar, and allegedly also explained how mana can be used to make objects lighter and levitate them, a process that would have been immensely helpful in building our ancient megaliths. The Knights found even older texts that predated even Atlantis, talking of a non-human race that enslaved humanity to mine gold, the Anunnaki, previous video. And once again, this mana is mentioned all around the world throughout history. In the Bible and Quran, mana is referenced as a food source from God. Sumerian texts talk of a substance called she-mana that was used to help the Anunnaki power their flying crafts. In Hindu texts, this substance was called vimana, again used for the same purpose. Polynesian cultures had mana as a supernatural force that permeates the entire universe. Buddhists called the same substance and force mani. So many ancient cultures had a similar name for this thing that powers our universe that we can use to generate energy, just like Atlantis did. Then the world got flooded and a few stray survivors used the knowledge of the Emerald Tablets to help rebuild civilization. Same old story you've heard a billion times. During their search, the Knights found texts that confirmed these stories, which didn't play well with the rigid teachings of the Catholic Church at the time, which was steadily growing more and more powerful throughout the 12th century, so the Knights covered up all findings out of fear of getting persecuted. And they kept this knowledge for themselves, collecting artifacts like the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, gaining divine forbidden knowledge like immortality that rose them to power behind the scenes. But then they got caught. In 1312, the Knights Templar was officially disbanded, their leaders burned at the stake after being convicted of heresy, aka going against the church. The ones who remained fled to avoid persecution and continued their practices in the shadows. One group of these knights escaped to Scotland. They renamed themselves to the Freemasons, and allegedly continued their lineage of practicing forbidden knowledge with the most powerful group of elites on the planet today, who use their power to purposely keep the secrets of Atlantis hidden from the masses. Now, to be fair, this is a story told by the Knights Templar leaders themselves as their own origin story, who are a little culty, so take it for what you will. But we do see glimpses of what appear to be remnants of Atlantis come up every now and then, which gets swept under the rug as crazy nonsense theories, like the Richat structure, which matches very closely to Plato's definition of the lost city and also shows up as Atlante on an ancient Roman map from 43 AD. In the same geographical region, the Richat structure structure is in. Obviously just a coincidence, and we must be reading into things too much. There's the Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan, an entire sunken underwater temple-looking structure thought to be over 10,000 years old that they insist is completely natural. Off the coast of Portugal, in the Atlantic Ocean, we have the Azores, a remote archipelago of islands 1,500 kilometers from the shore. In the area, amateur sonar scans revealed an underwater structure in the shape of what appears to be, get ready for this, a pyramid on the ocean floor. Rigid, square, and aligned with the 4 cardinal compass directions as most pyramids are, with an estimated 86,000 square foot base. This strange discovery was reported to the Portuguese Hydrographic Institute, to which it was claimed to be an underwater volcano and its location never revealed to the public. Off the coast of Cuba, underwater structures appearing to resemble a city were once again found on the seafloor that would have taken an estimated 50,000 years to sink. This one, they couldn't even pretend to try and say it was natural while keeping a straight face. So, it was shrugged off as we're not sure what that is and we don't have enough data to confirm, and further excavation of the area was discontinued. A little further north, just east off the coast of Miami, Bimini Road. A sprawling underwater terrace that has all the characteristics of being a man-made road deemed a natural geological formation. The Indian city of Dwarka is steeped in an ancient Hindu myth of another advanced utopia where sea levels rose and it was lost to the ocean. Thought to be a myth when in 1963, underwater archaeological excavation revealed numerous artifact and submerged remains of full-blown ancient structures, 36 meters underwater in the Gulf of Cambay, just off the western coast of India beside Dwarka, which some estimates put these ruins at over 9,000 years old. And we found all of this and more after exploring only something like 5 to 10% of our planet's oceans. What's hidden in the other 95%? Whatever it is, it seems like they're trying to hide something big time. Because the world's oldest known historic sites like Göbekli Tepe and Gunung Padang are being intentionally covered up by the global elites. And it's happening before our very eyes. Y'all are not gonna believe what they're doing here. Coming soon.